Good evening, everyone. What's up? I just ate a satisfying meal and topped it off with a measly dessert. This is Mr. Hotta speaking. Previously, I reviewed the top 45 worst SpongeBob episodes, part 10. I think this is part 11 of the top 45 worst SpongeBob episodes, second edition. So we left off at number 17. We were only able to get to 19 and 18, so number 17 is Skill Crane from season 4. Hmm. Perhaps one maybe mad to see this episode make it past the top 45 SpongeBob episode, second edition, let alone be chosen to make it halfway. My apologies that this episode has made the countdown, the big one, but it really got out of hand. At least it was not as bad as All That Glitters, Squidward, and Good Neighbor. Those were the only season 4 episodes that were a bit worse than this one. So, Greedy Mr. Krabs gets a skill train, as an easy way to make money. It's a quarter per try. Oh, SpongeBob's first try, he wins a bear. Squidward loses, but SpongeBob wins yet again. SpongeBob ends up winning countless times. Like, how on earth did he do all that well? How? That makes Squidward really ever so badly want to win. Sadly, Squidward keeps losing to the point where he's all out of money. Meanwhile, SpongeBob wins again and again. Squidward can't stop thinking about this silly machine, making him want to win once, just once. This is relatable to this BS lame Flappy Bird game back from February. Everyone did not stop playing until they beat their dumb old high score, because he wants to win just once ever so badly like everyone else. SpongeBob tells him the secret. It is, get ready to listen to this BS, is to close one's eyes, and it works. Wait, what? Hey, what? Just a second there, Buckaroo. That's it? That's all I had to do to win? It was that easy? BS? What a big fat lie. Why on earth didn't he just say that earlier? That's so lame. How could one do such a thing? When Squidward finally wins because he listens to SpongeBob, guess what he does next? Yeah, Squidward rubs it in everyone's faces that he won, including to a loser who's this mad. However, when he uses a real crane, he screws up big time and gets brutally beaten up. That's how he pays the price. That is when a Krusty Krab is obliterated. Oh goodness, I hate those crane machines. I hate them all, and I don't care, it's my opinion. They're nothing but evil money monsters. These motionless machine traps are what people fall for just like that. It doesn't work like that. Surprised we never see the crane ever again. Number 16 is also a hard choice. It's fine. Boating Buddies. From Season 6, August 2008. Sorry this episode is not in the top 10 or top 5, but at least it was bad enough to get well over halfway in the countdown. SpongeBob counts up to 100 for perhaps no reason at all, and here's something. It's Squidward. Apparently Squidward was motionless for 45 minutes and wanted to be left alone. Yeah, SpongeBob, won't you leave him alone already? SpongeBob, who won't leave Squidward alone, makes Coco rain and yells, Squidward! Squidward! So, desperate to be far away from SpongeBob, Squidward runs away and drives, but accidentally runs over a stop sign. Out of nowhere, the police chase Squidward and give him a ticket. Plot hole. Where'd the police come from? They weren't there to begin with. As a punishment, Squidward must go to boating school, which makes SpongeBob very excited. Good for SpongeBob, bad for Squidward. It's like the parasite. Good for the parasite, bad for the host. At the school, poor old Squidward has to sit by that annoying yellow sponge who just never knows when to shut up. That was the only empty seat, is why. SpongeBob says that they are boating buddies, quote unquote, which they are certainly not, and that is where the title of this episode comes from. Squidward, who is in due to SpongeBob's endless annoyance, is asked by Mrs. Puff to explain why he's here. Well, everyone was explained why they were here, except SpongeBob's. Everyone knows why SpongeBob's here. When Squidward tries to explain his situation, his very sad situation, SpongeBob breathes on him ever so heavily, which can be described as creepy to many people, or even gay. Finally, Squidward explains that he has to go to boarding school all because of SpongeBob, which was all true. SpongeBob has to explain his part of the story, but instead uses a sweet old time to draw best boating buddies forever. Squidward eats alone, trying to ignore his situation, but gets brutally beaten up for no reason at all. Then he must partner up with SpongeBob. Again, he gets beaten up by a school bully. Even worse this time. When it's time to take the test, he can't fill in a single answer. He has no choice but to ask SpongeBob for help, but has to say that he likes him and that they are best boating buddies. Before Squidward can even fill out one answer bubbled in, time's up and he gets a big fat 0. Consequently, he must retake the test next week. Why does Squidward have to be so severely punished just for wanting to be away from SpongeBob? What else is there to say about this episode? Nothing really. Number 15. Oh yeah. Now we are in the top 15 worst SpongeBob episodes, second edition. Hooray! We are 2/3 of the way there, so that means 30 down, 15 more to go. These are all atrocities. No question is asked. It is time for the top 15 worst SpongeBob episodes, second edition. Time for number 15, which will now be said. It's okay. I've been stalling a long time. So number 15 is... Hang on. I have number 15 somewhere, I think. Squirrel Record from Season 8 or 9, July 2012, July 21st. Almost 2.5 years ago, at the Krusty Krab, it's quitting time, says Mr. Squidward, which means that it's time to go home. SpongeBob must love the Krusty Krab way too much in the more modern SpongeBob episodes, because right here is just a fine example. There is a rancid trash that is about to be thrown out, but Sandy emerges from there attempting to break some world record. Really? After that, SpongeBob helps her break some world records for the whole episode. Examples include longest tongue eats as much raw chum as possible, eating a Krabby Patty enables survival, longest tooth, largest chili gargle, most robots built and destroyed, most walnuts in the mouth, most chainsaws juggled, and the world's largest house of cards, destroyed by Patrick. When Sandy shows herself breaking all the world records with proof, all the records were outdated, so she did not break any of them, not a single one. However, SpongeBob has set a world record for most injuries sustained while helping set a world record. Wow, Sandy's proud of him. Except for the world's largest house of cards, everything else was just so boring to watch. Trying to set up all the world records that fast? Who has heard of such a thing? That is all a bunch of baloney. What a bunch of BS. Who on earth would even attempt to do such a silly thing? Nothing can be accomplished that fast. Number 14 is Move It or Lose It from October 2012, Season 8 or 9. Is there really much to say about this episode? The Chum Bucket and Krusty Krab must be at least 100 feet away from each other. There are 99 feet from each other, so basically the plot is that both restaurant owners do everything they can to save their own restaurants for their own sake. At the end, all that happens is a bulldozer moves the Krusty Krab a foot away and it destroys the Chum Bucket. Plankton even sold all his possessions and gave away free money, and it didn't even work. What a lame, boring episode. Why didn't the restaurants just get moved in the first place? And what kind of law is this BS? Bad episode, bad. It was so futile and boring. Nothing else to say about this episode. Sorry I've been like that for the last few episodes. Well, that's all I have to say for the 11th part of the top 45 worst SpongeBob episodes. This is the 11th part. The 12th part will come up pretty soon. I'm sorry for screwing up in my speaking. I've just had a lot of trouble doing many of these because there's just so much to talk about. So, the 12th part will come out pretty soon. Anyway, look at the time. It's getting late. I gotta go to bed and hit the sack. See you on the next part of the top 45 worst SpongeBob episodes. Good night.